Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Xiao Yan inhaled a deep breath of air. His expression slowly became grave. If he was unable to receive it this time around, it was likely that he would really die. Hun Tiandi, you might be prepared, but so am I. Xiao Yan stared at Hun Tiandi. His hand seal changed. After which, he widened his mouth. Bright brilliant light shot out. Finally, it soared with the wind. It actually turned into a square that appeared in the sky. Heavenly Flame Square. Xiao Yan and the rest were startled as they looked at the somewhat familiar thing. That thing was surprisingly the Heavenly Flame Square that was taken out from the ancient god mansion. However, those heavenly flame did not have much strength. They were mere tokens. Could it be that Xiao Yan was planning to rely on this to block Hun Tiandi's formation? The Heavenly Flame Square floated in the sky. Xiao Yan's body moved and appeared in the sky above the square. The brilliant flame seal on his brow suddenly danced intensely. An indescribable thought fluctuation spread from within the fire seal. It spread over the entire Do-Chi continent at an extremely terrifying speed. In the name of the flame Di, all flames in the world listen to my command. Xiao Yan's eyes were suddenly opened. Brilliant flame surged from within his body. A voice that filled with pressure resounded in a vast and mighty fashion over the entire Do-Chi continent. The 23rd rank on the Heavenly Flame ranking, mysterious yellow flame, in position. Brilliant flame lingered around Xiao Yan's body. He appeared like the emperor of all flames. After this cry sounded, a loud explosion sounded from a mountain that was 50,000 kilometers from the central plains. A deep yellow flame shot out. Finally, it became like a falling star that cut through the sky. It penetrated through the space. Within a short instant, it had already appeared above the central plains. Finally, it directly landed on the stone pillar on the Heavenly Flame Square. Bang! After this deep yellow flame shot into the stone pillar. The mysterious yellow flame rising from it suddenly soared. It turned into a fire pillar shot towards the sky. 22nd on the Heavenly Flame ranking. 10,000 Beast Spirit Flame, in position. 21st on the Heavenly Flame ranking. 19th on the Heavenly Flame ranking, Green Lotus Core Flame, in position. A pale green flame surged out from within Xiao Yan's body and charged towards a stone pillar. Countless individuals were completely stunned as they watched this spectacular scene. Each time Xiao Yan's cry sounded, there would be a heavenly flame breaking through the space and arriving. Finally, it would obey his order and enter the stone pillar. That appearance was as though Xiao Yan had transformed into the emperor of all flames. None of these flames dared disobey him. This spectacular scene caused one's blood to boil from excitement when looking at it. That almighty feeling of having everything in the world obey one's orders caused one to feel an incomparable respect and envy. 7th on the Heavenly Flame ranking, 9 Quiet Gold Ancestor Flame, in position. Xiao Yan once again cried out loud in the sky. Yang Jin's body suddenly trembled as he stood below. Golden flame broke free from his body in an uncontrolled manner and rushed into the stone pillar. The next few heavenly flames might possess their respective owners, but all of them easily escaped from the bodies of their owners after being summoned by Xiao Yan. They were subsequently shot into the stone pillars. 3rd on the Heavenly Flame ranking, Purifying Demonic Flame, in position. Xiao Yan inhaled a deep breath of air. Little Yi also rushed out from his body and shot into a stone pillar. A pink fire pillar shot towards the sky. At this moment, there were already 21 Heavenly Flame fire pillar on the Heavenly Flame Square. The aura from them could be described as earth-shaking, This scene also caused Hun Tiandi to be greatly shocked. He could vaguely feel an unease. Those brilliant eyes of Xiao Yan had turned towards Hun Tiandi when the purifying demonic lotus flame shot into the fire pillar. His hand seal changed as he cried out in a cold voice, "Second on the heavenly flame ranking, nihility devouring flame, in position." Hun Tiandi's body suddenly shook as the cry sounded. The nihility devouring flame, which he had devoured for a long time, had actually once again showed traces of recovery. Bastard! Hun Tiandi's heart was a little horrified. He could sense that if Xiao Yan was really allowed to gather all the heavenly flames, the attack that he could unleash would be sufficient to defeat him. Hence, he must not allow the nihility devouring flame to also be summoned by Xiao Yan. A thought quickly flashed through his heart, as he hurriedly blocked the summoning strength that originated within Xiao Yan's body. You have actually devoured the nihility devouring flame. How ruthless! A surprise flashed across Xiao Yan's eyes as he detected the ripple from within Hun Tiandi's body. He immediately laughed coldly as he suddenly cried out loud, "Nihility devouring flame, just how long more are you going to wait before you act?" Boom! Xiao Yan's cry had just sounded when Hun Tiandi's body suddenly trembled. A black-colored flame finally broke out from within his body. Finally, he swiftly charged out of the Do Chi square and turned into a human figure. "Hun Tiandi, since you wish to devour me, I will definitely drag you down with me even if I die." The nihility devouring flame appeared. His eyes were ferocious as he looked at Hun Tiandi. Suddenly, he turned his head. Those ferocious eyes, which he was using to look at Xiao Yan, had become a little strange. He was able to sense the pressure that originated from Xiao Yan. "Flame de Xiao Yan, ha ha, you have the ability to summon all flames in this world. Today, I will obey your orders." The nihility devouring flame laughed out loud with an ugly expression. After which, he entered the final stone pillar in front of Hun Tiandi's furious eyes. Boom! After the nihility devouring flame shot into the final stone pillar, a black flame pillar also shot towards the sky. 22 flame pillars were slowly shifted. Finally, they gathered in the mid-air. A brilliant colored ancient ruler had actually appeared at the point where the flames merged. Heavenly flame lengthen ancient ruler. The eyes of Ji Yuan and the rest suddenly shrunk after they saw the ancient ruler with brilliant flames. Their voices had become sharp because of shock. That legendary heavenly flame lengthen ancient sword has actually appeared through this. Zhu Kuan was dull as he watched this scene and muttered. This was a mysterious object that only existed during the ancient times. Very few of those ancient experts had even seen it before. Offer sacrifices to the blood sword. A shock had also rose in Hun Tiandi's eyes at this moment. Immediately, he cried out explosively in a sharp voice. This time around, a commotion broke out in the army from the Hun clan after hearing his cry. There was hardly anyone who flew forward. Traitors! A brutal expression flashed across his eyes after Hun Tiandi saw this scene. Blood blades cut across the sky. It directly charged into the Hun clan army. Blood light flashed. Countless of heads flew. Within the blink of an eye, only 70 to 80% of the Hun clan army remained. All those who were left revealed terrified expressions as they looked at Hun Tiandi. Their faces were completely pale. The blood blade seemed to have grown a pair of blood-colored eyes after having absorbed the fresh blood of so many experts. Those eyes were filled with an endless chill and evil aura as they looked at this world. You are even willing to kill your own clan members. The word beast is indeed a suitable description for you. Xiao Yan's expression was icy cold as he looked at this action of Hun Tiandi. His voice contained some disdain. Such a person was really too unlikable. The winner is king. The process doesn't matter. If I am victorious today, the notoriety will naturally be bared by you in the future. Hun Tiandi laughed wildly towards the sky. He appeared somewhat crazy. Immediately, another mouthful of essence blood was spat out. He grabbed the blood blade and the incomparably sharp edges directly cut his palm. Blood flowed wildly. Subsequently, they were quickly devoured by the blood blade. Die. Hun Tiandi's blood hair was scattered. His expression was ferocious and frightening. His foot took a stride through the empty air, and the blood blade in his hand swelled suddenly. Next, his body directly appeared on the heavenly flame square. The blood blade turned into a blood glow as it penetrated through the empty space. It shot towards Xiao Yan in front of the countless pairs of eyes. Xiao Yan's expression became increasingly grave as he looked at the blood blade, which contained an endless amount of danger. He deeply exhaled a breath of lightning aura. He grabbed with his hand and the ancient ruler formed by the 22 heavenly flames landed in his hand. He took a stride forward. The brilliant fire ancient ruler cut through the space. It was accompanied by an endless terrifying strength, as it ruthlessly slashed onto the bloodlight. Clang! Terrifying storm swept wildly over the sky. The defensive barrier of the Sky Mansion Alliance was cut almost instantly. Everyone within it was sent flying by 10,000 feet. Even the meteorite had exploded into dust at the location of the star realm. Terrifying wind directly forced the heavenly flame square floating in the sky towards the ground. Finally, it smashed and formed a 50,000-kilometer large deep pit on the ground. Those in the air, who still had the ability to fly, swiftly appeared in the sky around the deep pit. Their eyes hurriedly looked towards the deep pit. Everyone knew that a victor would be decided through the all-out battle between the two. Countless pairs of eyes gathered on the heavenly flame square. Two miserable blood-covered figures were climbing onto their feet. The two Do-D bodies had also been shattered during the earlier intense big clash. Ha ha, Xiao Yan, even if you can defeat me today, you are still unable to kill me. Once I recover in the future, I will definitely get you to pay a bloody price. Hun Tiandi struggled to get up. After which, he staggered as he rose into the air. Waves of weary feeling spread from within his body. His eyes were savage as he looked at Xiao Yan below with great unwillingness. I hissed and laughed. Cough. Xiao Yan coughed violently a couple of times. His face was as pale as sheet. Blood wildly spluttered out from his mouth. This intense battle was far too cruel. However, he must not allow this potential danger to flee no matter what. Otherwise, calamity would continue to befall the continent. Ha ha, why would I allow you to leave? Xiao Yan wiped off the blood on the corner of his mouth. A strange smile appeared on his face. The heavenly flame square slowly rose into the air. Suddenly, Xiao Yan's body revealed a brilliant fire glow. The square suddenly trembled as this brilliant flame appeared. Another bright-colored stone pillar rose at the middle of the square. A smile rose on Xiao Yan's pale face as he looked at the stone pillar. His body shook and it actually began to burn at this moment. Self-igniting your Do-D body. Xiao Yan, you are committing suicide. Hun Tiandi's face immediately paled from shock after seeing this action of Xiao Yan. If the latter was to self-ignite his own Do-D body, he would at least need a couple of 100 years or longer in order to once again refine and create it. Moreover, it was also possible that he would fail to successfully refine it. The price was quite a severe one. Xiao Yan merely smiled calmly in the face of Hun Tiandi's stern cry. The flame on his body became increasingly intense. Alliance Chief. Flame D is righteous. Countless number of people in the entire place seemed to be aware of Xiao Yan's act of risking his life. Immediately, a huge sea of black masses began to kneel onto the ground. My body shall turn into a heavenly flame to seal you forever. Hun Tiandi, let the calamity of this continent come to an end. Xiao Yan's body had completely turned into a cluster of brilliant flame. The other heavenly flames on the heavenly flame square dimmed slightly in the face of this cluster of flame. They emitted a low humming sound, appearing as though they were subordinates who had met their emperor. The flame had rushed into the final stone pillar after it was formed. Immediately, 23 fire pillars gathered. It directly formed an unusually mysterious array on the heavenly flame square. Hun Tiandi's face turned ashen as he looked at this flame array. He could sense an aura of death from it. His body hurriedly pulled back. Swoosh! However, the huge heavenly flame square broke through the empty space and appeared below him just as his body was withdrawing. The formation swept over the place and sucked Hun Tiandi into it. Rumble. My Hun clan's 1,000-year preparation has actually been ruined in your hands. Xiao Yan, I am unwilling to accept this, unwilling to accept this. The formation turned into various fire threads in front of the countless pairs of eyes. They entwined around Hun Tiandi's body. The latter swiftly melted after being entwined by the fire threads. Finally, he turned into a cluster of spiritual light. At this moment, Hun Tiandi's sharp roar had also rumbled across the world. The fire threads had turned into a huge cocoon the moment the light cluster appeared. Finally, it slowly landed on the heavenly flame square and slowly sunk deep into it. Many mysterious fire symbols wrapped around the entire square like a seal. Countless individuals on the ground looked at the fire cocoon that was being suppressed in the heavenly flame square. Their bodies involuntarily trembled. They had finally been relieved from the over half a year of doomsday-like feeling today. Has it succeeded? Xiao Yan and the rest wore stunned expressions as they watched the heavenly flame square floating in the sky and heard the earth-shaking cheers on the central plains. Had they finally stopped this calamity? We have succeeded. A moment later, the stunned emotion on their faces gradually turned into wild joy. Xiao Yan and the rest exchanged glances. Their mood surged. Finally, they involuntarily laughed out loud. This time around, their laughter was completely without fear. Xiao Yang, Zuba and Cai Lin by the side were startled as they looked at the heavenly flame ranking. A moment later, they hurriedly rushed towards the heavenly flame square like lunatics. The both of them saw many heavenly flame pillars when they arrived at the square. Their eyes immediately focused on a brilliant flame at the middle. However, there was no one standing there like they had anticipated. Both women seemed to have been struck by lightning at that moment. Their pretty faces were white as tears involuntarily rolled down. Cough. A weak cough suddenly sounded while both women were depressed and in despair. The fire glow on the fire pillar moved and a somewhat illusory figure appeared in front of the duo. I'm still alive. It is just that I have destroyed my physical body. All I need to do is to create another one in the future. Xiao Yang was pale as he looked at the two women and spoke in a weak manner. Two pretty figures pounced at him after Xiao Yang's laughter sounded. They violently collided into his embrace. Do not go and become a hero again the next time, no one knew who had grumbled amidst the crying. If I don't, this entire continent would be destroyed. Xiao Yang sighed softly in his heart. He immediately smiled and nodded, this will be the last time. Xiao Yang's eyes glazed at the middle of the heavenly flame square as he uttered those words. A Dodi soul was sealed under it. He would be gradually refined by the flame within the darkness. The big fight might be miserable, but it was fortunate that he had emerged victorious. Xiao Yang smiled as he looked at the central plains, which had been ruined to the point of being covered with holes. A feeling of ease that Xiao Yang had never felt before, spread from deep within his soul. I can finally rest. Xiao Yan hugged the two women on the heavenly flame square and slowly shut his eyes. Xiao Yan had worked hard for many years, because of various reasons. It seemed that the result he had obtained was not bad. Flame D, Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang curled his lips into a smile as he muttered to himself, Ancestor Xiao Xian, I have helped you completed what you have failed to achieve. An incomparable battle had come to a close. However, it had left behind a seriously damaged central plains. The original prosperity had vanished. Additionally, the entire central plains had been split into two. A hundreds of thousand feet large deep abyss had split it into two sections. This hundreds of thousands of feet huge deep abyss would be named the 2D abyss in the future. No one was able to forget the earth-shaking battle that day. The central plains had thus declined in prosperity. Fortunately, the disaster had also come to a halt. The decisive battle had naturally ended with the Alliance army being victorious following Hun Tiandi being sealed. Although many in the Hun clan had become much stronger after Hun Tiandi advance into the Dodi, most of them had been used by Hun Tiandi as sacrifices to the blood blade before they could display this strength. The remaining people were a little desolates. Faced with being chased by the Alliance army, they did not put up much resistance before surrendering. Soon after the big battle came to end, the Alliance army invaded the Hun realm for the first time. However, the expected flourishing scene did not appear. After entering the Hun realm, all they could see was bright redness. The entire space was filled with death. There was hardly any trace of people. The Alliance army discovered 100,000 feet large blood pool at the middle of the Hun realm. The blood inside was incomparably viscous. Densely packed corpses and bones were present in the blood pool. Only after seeing this did the Alliance army understood why the Hun realm was so empty. This was because the people here seemed to have been thrown into this blood pool. Hun Tiandi had indeed sacrificed everything to achieve his aim. This type of person caused one's heart to be chilled and terrified. Everyone felt that it was lucky that someone was finally able to subdue such a lunatic. Turned bright are. Some of the remaining people inside the hub realm were also brought away. After which, Gu Yuan and the rest joined hands to completely destroy this old hideout of the hub clan. From that moment forth, the so-called Hun clan would cease to exist on the central plains. Amongst the 8 ancient clans, only the Jiu clan, Yang clan and Lei clan still existed. Oh, of course one must not forget the Xiao clan, whose Dodi bloodline had been once again activated because of Xiao Yang progressing into the Dodi class. The so-called Dodi bloodline benefited those whose blood was most closely related to Xiao Yang the most. The most obvious effect was naturally that felt by Xiao Yang's daughter Xiao Xiao. She had directly soared violently towards the 8-star Do Xing class the moment Xiao Yang reached the Do Di class. That speed caused one to be giddy simply from looking at it. Although Xiao Xiao had excellent talent, this talent had yet to be completely revealed when she had directly leaped into becoming a top expert on the Do Chi continent. This situation caused people like Lei Ying and Yang Jin, who had trained for thousands of years, to have an impulse to throw up blood. Was this the benefit that the first generation of the Do Di bloodline enjoyed? The Do Di bloodline was such an abnormal and perverse thing. Otherwise, how would it be possible to rely on one's strength to revitalize the entire clan? One could imagine that the entire Xiao clan would completely enjoy the benefit brought about by the Do Di bloodline. Their strength would end up soaring greatly in the future. At that time, it was only a matter of time before they returned to the powerful era back then. The Alliance army was naturally disbanded after the big war ended. Unless there was some unique situation, it would be extremely difficult for such a terrifyingly big war to occur on the Do Chi continent in the future. This was because the current continent had an ultimate expert maintaining the balance. Flame D, Xiao Yan. A name which had resounded throughout every corner of the Do-Chi continent and worshipped by countless number of people. In the hearts of many, it was a divine godlike existence. He guarded the Do-Chi continent. The Alliance army was disbanded. However, the Sky Mansion Alliance still existed. Moreover, the current alliance was no longer separated into various factions and sects. At this moment, they clearly understood that being able to exist in this alliance was an incomparably glorious matter. That glory originated from the person who stood at the peak of the Do-Chi continent. 2 years had passed since that earth-shaking big battle. The Central Plains once again became prosperous. Many sects and factions appeared like shoots after a rain. This caused the Central Plains to once again flourish. Of course, the Sky Mansion Alliance did not intervene in this. They retained their supreme position and quietly observed the development and changes on the Central Plains. There was naturally no faction that dared to provoke this unquestionable overlord of the Central Plains. With the help of the strength of the heavenly flame, Xiao Yan had merely used 2 months to once again refine a body after suffering the injury from the battle with Hun Tiandi. Fortunately, no sequela remained. During these 2 years, Xiao Yang, Zun Er and Cai Lin organized an unusually grand wedding. That wedding was witnessed by the world and countless individuals. This was also the promise that Xiao Yang had once given the 2 women. Soon after the wedding, Xiao Yang had once again returned the position of the chief of the Sky Mansion Alliance to Yao Lao. His reason was that the current Sky Mansion Alliance no longer needed to be supported by him. Yao Lao was helpless in the face of this action of Xiao Yang. He was aware that this little fellow was planning on being a hands-off boss. However, he involuntarily felt some heartache the moment he thought of the burden Xiao Yang had to carry all these years. Therefore, he could only once again take over as the chief of the alliance and help Xiao Yang carry this burden. Xiao Yang only left in a leisure and carefree manner after being relieved of this burden. He could truly be carefree in this world. Time flowed by. Spring passed and autumn came. Over a year quietly passed. 3 figures sat within a pavilion around 5 kilometers from Bailey City in the eastern part of the Central Plains. They lifted their eyes and appeared slightly excited. Liu Qing, will he come? A grey-clothed man with a somewhat sharp expression sat in the pavilion. He licked his mouth and asked. Lin Yang, it has been so many years, but you are still so impatient. A green-clothed man by the side smiled faintly and spoke in a warm and refined fashion. Lin Xiao Ya, I heard that you have established a YA gang in the Clear Sky City. The tall burly Liu Qing laughed. He was currently the person in charge of the Liu clan. There was quite a great mighty aura on his brow. I am merely playing around. Lin Xiao Ya laughed. It isn't anything remarkable. Compared to that fellow, it isn't even worth a thread of hair. Ha ha, Lin Xiao Ya, this doesn't appear like something you will say. A familiar laughter sounded within the pavilion just after Lin Xiao Ya spoke. Soon after, a figure appeared within the pavilion without warning. The figure was in black clothes. It was Xiao Yang. Ha ha, you have finally arrived. A joy surged onto the faces of the trio after they saw Xiao Yang appeared. They quickly stepped forward. Each of them threw a punch on the chest of the figure. He, I have actually punched the Flame D. This is damn grand. Lin Yang laughed out loud. Xiao Yang laughed in a relaxed manner, after seeing these good friends whom he had been separated from for years. He grabbed with his hand. A couple of wine pots appeared in his hand. Stop uttering any unnecessary words. We will not return until we are drunk. Good, I will accompany you today. The three of them laughed out loud. They unceremoniously received the wine pot, lifted their heads and poured the wine into their mouths. The four drank happily within the pavilion. Their laughter appeared extremely free and unrestrained as it spread within the pavilion. The moon climbed across the sky. Lin Yang and Liu Qing were completely drunk. They lay on the ground without concern for their image. None of them had used Do Qi to block the alcohol. They wanted to greatly enjoy being drunk. Where do you plan to go to next? Lin Xiao Yue's face was somewhat red as he looked at Xiao Yan and laughed. I have held out for so long and have become a little tired, Xiao Yan laughed. He lifted his head and looked at the bright light. I wish to return to the Jioma Empire. You can head to the Sky Mansion Alliance if you have any problems in the future. I have already talked to them. Ha ha, this background is really a little shocking. It seems that I have really made the right choice in heading to the Jioma Empire with you back then. Ha ha. The Flower Sect. Due to the alliance having been completely assimilated, the current Flower Sect had also completely merged into the alliance. However, some of the elders of the Flower Sect still liked to remain in this quiet place. An elegant figure was standing on a back mountain in the Flower Sect. Her moon-white robe outlined her enchanting curves, causing her to appear extremely alluring. Teacher, a pale blue-clothed lady standing behind the figure softly cried out. Yang Ran, is there something? The white-dressed woman turned her head and revealed a pretty face containing an elegant appearance. She was Yun Yun. Nalna Yang Ran sighed in her heart upon seeing this pretty face that was filled with charm. There were many renowned experts on the Do Qi continent and the leaders of various factions expressing their love for Yun Yun. Unfortunately, none of them managed to make any progress. Her heart was clearly aware that it was extremely difficult for the figure within Yun Yun's heart to disappear. This was even though that figure is already married. Xiao Yang has delivered a message, Nalan Yang Ran softly said. Yun Yun, who had been as calm as water, suddenly turned around after Nalan Yang Ran's words sounded. This reaction caused the latter to once again smile bitterly. What? Yun Yun's voice had involuntarily trembled slightly. He asked, if you are willing to return to the Jioma Empire. Nalan Yang Ran smiled slightly. Her smile was a little sour. Yun Yun was startled. The back of her teeth bit her lips tightly. Those pretty eyes of hers suddenly became a little moist. There was a place there that she had greatly missed. That place was not the Misty Cloud Mountain. Instead, it was the magical Beast Mountain range. Jioma Empire, Qingshan Town. The current Qingshan Town was undoubtedly a lot more bustling compared to back then. With the help of the magical Beast Mountain range terrain, an increasing number of mercenaries began to set up camp here. The reason for doing this was not only because it was easier to enter the magical Beast Mountain range, but it was also because there was a clinic in Qingshan Town. The clinic was not large. However, as long as one still had a breath remaining, it was possible for it to allow one to exit in a lively manner. This place was also the most respected place of everyone in the Qingshan Town. The area in front of the clinic was always filled with a squeezing crowd. Some of them were injured mercenaries while others were the wounded being hurriedly transported over from other places. However, there was an ironclad rule in this place. One could only take a number and queue in this place regardless of how great one's status was. Of course, this somewhat arrogant rule had initially been met with many cold laughter and disdain. However, after an expert Do Huang, who broke the rule, began to melt in front of everyone's eyes in an inexplicable manner, everyone finally understood just what kind of terrifying techniques the white-dressed lady, who appeared extremely kind and innocent, had. Since that day onward, there was no one who dared to disregard the rules of this place. There was a simple, clean and orderly wooden table within the clinic. Behind the wooden table seated quiet, a white-dressed lady. Sunlight scattered in from the roof and shone onto her face, which had a gentle smile. This beautiful scene caused the injured person seated in front of her to be stunned. Boil the medicine into liquid, after you return, and place in on your wound. The white-clothed lady smiled gently. She placed the bag of medicine gently on the table. Her black hair poured down like a waterfall, causing her to appear extremely pure and alluring. That demeanor caused those people with bloody aura over them caused them to feel a little ashamed. The injured person took the bag of medicine and left in a distracted fashion. His mind continued to reveal that warm smile. Such a lady was so gentle. Just looking at her caused all the irritation in his heart to diminish. The person queuing at the back immediately rejoiced after the injured person in front had left. However, he was just about to step forward when a figure suddenly walked past him from the side and sat down on the chair before him. "You are seeking death." Everyone was stunned for a moment after seeing that there was actually someone cutting queue. After which, all of them became furious. They looked at that figure with a murderous aura. Was this fellow trying to commit suicide by finding trouble here? "Please queue up." The white-clothed lady shifted her body. She did not even lift her head, as she arranged the medicine at the side. Her voice was soft and gentle, appearing like the spring breeze. Many people behind quietly laughed coldly after seeing this reaction of hers. This fellow was going to be out of luck if he did not leave. However, that person, who was sitting on the chair like a rogue, suddenly laughed while they were all mocking coldly. "Given our good relationship, I think there is no need to queue, right? This bastard, he actually dares to tease her." Everyone was stunned after hearing these words, which seemed to be taking advantage of her. Was this fellow really an idiot? Did he really think that this seemingly weak lady was an ordinary woman? Many pairs of eyes began to contain some pity as they stared at the figure. Some people even sighed softly and shook their heads. Of course, there were naturally many people whose eyes were filled with anger because this person had offended the untouchable fairy in their hearts. While these people were prepared to see a tragedy happen, however, the hands of that white-clothed lady, who had shifted her head to arrange her medicine, suddenly trembled. She was startled for a moment before her pretty face was hurriedly turned. Immediately, a smiling familiar face appeared in her eyes. The back of her teeth gently bit on her red lips. "Aren't you afraid of being lonely by leaving alone?" The black-clothed man laughed softly. His words caused the furious people behind to be suddenly startled. By the time they recovered, however, this white-clothed lady's voice had sounded in a saucy fashion. It caused everyone to become stunned, appearing as though they had been struck by thunder. "You are unwilling to accompany me, so I can only leave by myself." The black-clothed man rubbed his head. He looked at those somewhat dim intelligent eyes of the white-clothed lady. After smiling bitterly for a moment, he finally asked, "What about coming with me to live in Wutang City?" The white-clothed lady covered her mouth and laughed softly. There was a red moisture appearing in her pretty eyes. Her lips contained a warm and gentle arc. Everyone who were queuing felt their hearts shatter after seeing this reaction of hers. They immediately fell to despair. Jioma Empire Capital, Jioma Sacred City. Today was considered an important day for the Jiunan Empire, and even the entire northwestern region. This was because the Yang Alliance biennial auction would be held in the Jioma Sacred City. The auction was extremely grand. The items being auctioned were also at the peak level. Each time the auction was held, it would not only attract various factions and experts from the northwestern region, but even those from the other regions would come after hearing about it. The location of the auction was the middle of the Jioman Sacred City. That place was where the headquarters of the Maita clan was located. Densely packed human figures filled the area, under the tall 1,000 feet large crystal ceiling. The fiery hot atmosphere had kept the auction in a high atmosphere. Of course, the reason for this heated atmosphere was not completely because of the auctioned items. It was also very much related to a person. That was a bewitching lady who in a red cheongsam. The fitting dress exposed her voluminous matured curves in an extremely vivid fashion. Her every frown and smile revealed a matured aura. Of course, although those seated had some desire towards the tempting woman on the stage, all of them understood that this lady was not some beautiful flower vase. A significant reason that the Yang Alliance was able to become so powerful in the northwestern region was because of her management methods. The properties under her spread across the entire northwestern continent. Moreover, her information network was also able to clearly investigate everything one did. Although this woman did not have great talent when it came to training and had only reached the Do Huang class by relying on medicinal pills, there were countless of elite dozongs under her who would risk their lives to work for her. Who would dare describe her as a flower vase, given this ability of hers? This woman had a special nickname in the northwestern region. Golden Female Emperor. Additionally, her name was Maita Ya Fei. Ya Fei wore a lazy expression as she stood on the auction stage and looked at the people who had paid a price many times the value of the object to purchase it. She involuntarily laughed softly and shook her head. Immediately, she took out a scroll containing an ancient aura from her storage ring. Her numbing voice was filled with an endless enchantment. Tien class low-level Qi method, thunder skill. Starting bid, 3 billion. Her words immediately stirred some commotion in the auction. The eyes of many became fiery hot. However, no one knew of this heat was because of the scroll or the person. However, a Tien class low-level Qi method clearly had a great weight in this place. Hence, many sects and factions were eager to obtain it and showed signs of being about to fight for it. 3 billion, can it be a little cheaper? However, the bidding was about to start when a laughter suddenly sounded from nowhere. Everyone was stunned. They involuntarily laughed out loud. Who was so stupid? Did he think that this was a marketplace? Trying to bargain? Many pairs of eyes followed the voice and shifted. Finally, they paused at the front row. A black-clothed young man had appeared on the originally empty chair at some unknown moment. Ya Fei on the stage was also startled because of the voice that suddenly sounded. Her pretty eyes turned towards the chair. The extremely valuable Tien class low-level Qi method let out a bam sound as it fell onto the ground after his eyes looked at the smiling familiar face. 3 billion with one person added in. Will this do? The black-clothed young man looked at this extreme temptation, who had become even more matured compared to back then, and laughed. The expressions of many sunk after these words sounded. Some of the guards in the auction had already swiftly surrounded the person while wearing gloomy faces. After which, they moved closer to the black-clothed young man. They were certain that this person was here to create trouble. However, just as everyone were prepared to watch a fun show, Ya Fei on the stage looked at the clear black eyes comparable to back then. A moment later, she gently bit her red lips. A rare bewitching enchanting smile surfaced on her face. I can consider it. Her voice reverberated throughout the auction ground. After which, the originally boiling auction ground became completely silent. Those guards had also halted their footsteps. Their faces were dull. Time flies. It would not stop for anyone. Without realizing it, over a decade had passed since the 2D battle back then. During these decade-plus time, many new geniuses had appeared on the Do Chi continent. There was a continuous stream of new experts, showing their edge, adding some excitement to this continent. Flame Di Xiao Yan had completely faded from everyone's sight during this decade-plus time. However, the various legends about him continued to spread. They had become increasingly exaggerated as they passed on from one person to the next. This caused him to be greatly respected. Jioma Empire, Wutang City. Wutang City was a holy site in the eyes of many citizens within the Jioma Empire. This was because that place was the headquarters of the Xiao clan. The Xiao clan had produced countless of experts during these years. There were hardly any group that could match it even in the entire Do-Chi continent. There was a little child laughter vaguely being emitted from a manor that stood at the middle of Wutang City. If one's sight leaped over the tall wall, one would see a few children rolling and playing around within the courtyard. Their laughter sounded continuously. A young man placed his hands like a pillow behind his head as he sat on a stone chair in the courtyard. There was a grass in his mouth. His eyes were smiling as he enjoyed the warm sunlight. Beside the young man was a lady in pale green clothes. Her long delicate hand was skillfully cutting a fruit. After which, she gently placed it into the young man's mouth. The lady was about to stand up after doing this when an arm hugged her delicate narrow waist. She was pulled into his embrace while emitting a lovely cry. After which, the man ruthlessly killed on the lady's face, causing it to turn bright red. Lina and the rest are still present, the green-clothed lady chided in a lovely and embarrassed manner. It is fine if they watch. We are already an old couple. Xiao Yan curled his mouth and laughed. Father, you are bullying Mum again. I will tell Cai Lin Mum. A dignified and somewhat cute boy suddenly appeared after Xiao Yang's voice sounded. Both of his hands were placed on his waist as he cried out loud. Little brat, you actually dare threaten your father. Go to one corner and play. Xiao Yang rolled his eyes. He randomly waved his hand and a gentle breeze blew. Seeing this, the boy's body immediately emitted an extremely powerful Do-Chi light pillar. Unfortunately, he was still being blown away when the breeze blew over. Finally, he landed gently onto the ground. You? Zun involuntarily knocked Xiao Yang and reprimanded upon seeing this. Xiao Yang smiled. He lifted both of his eyes and looked at the sky. The smile on his face slowly disappeared as he softly said, I have some strange feeling during this period of time. What is it? Zun asked in a startled voice. Zun, do you know why the elite Do-Di on the Do-Chi continent all eventually disappeared? Xiao Yang asked. Why? Xiao Yang returned the question in a slightly surprised manner after hearing this. Perhaps they had left this Do-Chi continent. A faint light flickered within Xiao Yang's eyes as he softly said. It can't be right. Zun muttered in a startled manner. That feeling is becoming increasingly intense. In at the very most half a year, I will perhaps have an answer. Xiao Yang hugged Zun and said. Zun nodded slightly after hearing this. Her arms, which were entwined around Xiao Yang's waist, had unknowingly increased its strength. Half a year passed by in the blink of an eye. There was a towering stone tower at the headquarters of the Sky Mansion Alliance in the Central Plains. There were countless number of experts suspended in the air around the stone tower. Their eyes contained a fiery heat as they looked at the top of the stone tower. A black-clothed young man was sitting quietly at that spot. This was the first time that they had seen this legendary person in a decade. Flame D, Xiao Yang. Do you think that Xiao Yang is speaking the truth? Zhu Kuan looked at Xiao Yang before turning his head and asked Ji Yuan at the side. This? I don't know either. However, it seems that this is the only way to explain why the elite Do-Di on this Do-Chi continent has completely disappeared. It is not easy to kill a person at that level. Ji Yuan hesitated for a moment before replying. Zhu Kuan sighed. He had an extremely complicated feeling in his heart. If that was really the truth, they would really be considered the fog in the well. The calmness in the sky continued for half a day. Finally, it suddenly formed waves of mysterious fluctuation when the sun was about to set. Countless number of people held their breath. Their eyes were shocked as they watched this scene. The ripple became increasingly intense with the flow of time. At the end, Xiao Yan suddenly opened his eyes. A chi pillar that seemed to have penetrated through the world rose from the top of his head. Finally, it shot into the distant sky in front of all the eyes within the central plains. Hum hum. The ripple in the sky became extremely intense as this chi pillar shot out. A moment later, a tunnel that contained a faint light seemed to have broken through the restraint of the space in this plain and appeared in front of countless pairs of eyes. Xiao Yan abruptly stood up when the tunnel appeared. His expression was grave as he looked at this scene. He could sense a familiar feeling from within the tunnel. Origin Qi. It was the origin Qi, which had already vanished from the Do Qi continent. It was also the crucial thing to allow someone to advance into an elite Do Di. The entire world had become quiet at this moment. Zhu Kuan and Ji Yu Yuan widened their mouths. A great storm rose within their hearts. When the tunnel had appeared, they could clearly sense that their strength, which had not progressed for 1,000 years, actually began to show signs of growing. Gulp. Their eyes were incomparably excited as they looked at the light tunnel. An extremely intense throbbing appeared from deep within their souls. This feeling told them that if they were to enter the tunnel, they would definitely experience a breakthrough in their strength. Who? Xiao Yang let out a deep breath. Those dark black eyes, which had been calm for many years, once again revealed a fiery heat. His originally cooled blood seemed to have begun to boil at this moment. The end was indeed also a beginning. A smile was lifted on the corner of his mouth. Perhaps this would also be a different beginning. The end. This video will end here.